do it.
Round number 5. You can see Kaiwen there on the left, Mehdi on the right. We're going to get a first look at what these guys are playing. We've not seen either of them on stream up until this point, so it's news to us. But you were saying Mehdi is known for playing some off-the-wall stuff, so maybe we'll be surprised here.
Yeah,
or maybe it'll just be Reshiram and Charizards all around.
It sure could be. You never know. Sometimes even the rogue players have to accept defeat and play a meta deck.
Got to standardize in the name of a world championship title. It is much more difficult to find those off-the-wall decks when the meta is less well explored, which right now it's very fresh.
Absolutely, but we'll just have to wait and see what these two players have brought to the event. I know Kaiwen used Pikachu and Zekrom a lot through the season. It's what he used to get top 4 at the Oceania International Championships, and that deck is still very powerful, so he may have brought it to this event as well. For Mehdi, we'll see. Anything is possible. I've seen a Pidgey. I've seen a Macargo GX.
You've seen a Pidgey, you've seen it all. It looks like a fire deck and a mulligan for Mehdi. Kaiwen did manage to find a basic Pokemon.
Yeah, we'll see if it's a, well, Fire Energy doesn't tell you very much these days. Could be a Reshiram and Charizard deck. Could be a Blacephalon GX deck. Could be a Mewtwo and Mew GX deck. You just don't know. It looks like this may be similar to what we saw earlier with Tord Reklev, though, with the Reshiram and Charizard GX ability-based deck. So this will be a classic Pikachu and Zekrom versus Reshiram and Charizard. And oh no, both Raichu and Alolan Raichu are prized for Kaiwen. That could be devastating in this matchup.
It's been a really influential card so far today. We saw it on the mainstream in the previous round, getting Justin Bocario in versus Rahul Reddy. So certainly something that Kaiwen will be feeling the absence of here, as both of them are prized. But we're getting things underway. Round number 5 for the Pokemon trading card game has begun.
And if you're watching, get on social media. You can use the hashtag #PlayPokemon. You can also use the hashtag Pokemon Worlds. That is also the event-specific hashtag if you want to join the conversation.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I like it.
Of course, we've also got the main stage going right now. I believe Pokken is going to be finishing up there in a little bit. So if you're interested in watching the finals of that, open another tab, open another browser of your choice.
Yeah, Pokken Tournament DX has been exciting to watch throughout this weekend. Even if I have no idea what's happening, it's still a lot of fun to watch.
I mean, I've just taken to sitting next to Chef whenever he's out there watching. He's one of the commentators, along with D1 and Burnside, and he just sort of explains things to me. It's a very exciting game to watch.
It is, yeah.
A lot of fun, but of course, we are biased toward the Pokemon trading card game. So here we see Kaiwen with a Stellar Wish from Jirachi, and then Faulkner to find that electromagnetic radar. That's the most popular turn 1 for any lightning type deck right now, is just be able to search out those GX Pokemon, get that to Dene GX if your hand is not so great, and be able to get another chance at getting what you want.
My eyes can't look. It's too shiny. Everything in his deck is rainbow, maximum rarity.
I'm the one with the eye problems today. So if you're blinded and I'm having allergy attacks every 20 minutes, this is going to be hard.
Yeah, I believe that's Zeraora GX and Pikachu and Zekrom GX. Those are the two lightning Pokemon GX of choice for Kaiwen. And yeah, electromagnetic radar is excellent in this deck. It's a very narrow and specific card. Searches for just 2 lightning Pokemon GX. And if you're playing in the expanded format, you could grab lightning Pokemon EX. But yeah, it's only seen pretty much in this deck, and you can see why. You had Ultra Ball for a long time, which was discard 2 cards, go search for any Pokemon, but what if you could Ultra Ball for 2 of your best Lightning GXs instead, including Dedenne GX, which can then Dede change and draw 6 cards. It's just a flexible and incredible card that makes your first couple turns very smooth.
Definitely a large part of why Pikachu and Zekrom has been so popular is that it's been able to sort of weather the storm of the rotation better than most decks. Ultra Ball turned into electromagnetic radar. The loss of Tapu Lele GX is okay because Dedenne GX is like a Tapu Lele and a supporter all in one. It's just a very consistent deck despite all of the rotations.
Absolutely. We see Mehdi plays down the Giant Hearth, discards a card to search for 2 fire energy, and in the process, checking to see what is in his prize cards. This is an important thing to do if you're new to the Pokemon trading card game. You have to start the game with 6 of your cards face down in your prize cards. You don't have access to them until you start knocking out your opponent's Pokemon. So it's important to look through your deck and see which cards will I not have access to. There are very important things that hold a deck together and can influence your decisions. So if you can, whenever you search your deck for the first time, just take a quick look, search for those important cards, and make sure you can actually play them this game.
Wow, I feel like that should be a segment.
Something about getting better.
Yeah, improvement.
Yeah.
In general. We should get Jeremy on that. I think he'd be good. We saw Tord playing pretty much exactly this deck earlier today, and he was running something like 18 fire energy.
Yeah.
So obviously you need fuel for the hearth, and to be able to use the ability of that 9 Temptations, I believe.
Indeed, yeah.
Which acts sort of as a Lysander, but you need a lot of fuel for the fire here. So this deck just requires a lot of room dedicated to simply basic energy.
Yeah, this is a somewhat tricky start for Mehdi. So he's got to switch into the Vulpix, which is now riding that escape board, and might see the Dedede change here. Yeah, all right, and we will. So Dedede GX is always iffy to put down against a Pikachu and Zekrom deck. It, of course, has 160 HP, so if they can ever get that Tag Bolt GX off, it can target down Dedede GX, hit it for 170, and take 2 easy prize cards on it. So it can be risky to put down, but if you do have that Mew with a bench barrier in your deck, that takes away the risk.
Yeah, Dedede is certainly less of a liability now that Guzma's rotated, but Pikachu and Zekrom is still in a good position to be able to take advantage of it. And a 4 or 5 prize swing, depending on what's knocked out with the Tag Bolt, would be almost enough to win the game right by that self.
Yeah,
so
this
many
matchup
will want to avoid that.
This matchup has changed a little bit now that Raichu and Alolan Raichu has come out. In the past, you would typically save your GX attack for Tag Bolt or for Tapu Koko GX's Tapu Thunder GX. And now you don't have access to Tapu Koko GX. And Raichu and Alolan Raichu has the Lightning Ride GX attack, which can hit up to 250 damage. And with Electro Power, that lets you knock out tag teams in one hit. So that's typically your preferred GX attack now. But with both of them in the prizes, we'll see what happens.
Hitting the Jirachi for weakness and still just short of being able to knock it out with Outrage.
Yeah, one of the things I loved about playing the Mewtwo and Mew deck with the Rainbow Energy is you could sometimes put a Rainbow Energy on your Pokemon and then Outrage for more damage. It's pretty sweet. You can get a turn 1 Outrage knockout if you put a Rainbow on your Reshiram and Charizard.
Yeah, there's not many options for attacking with 2 energy in that deck outside of the Solgaleo GX.
Yeah. All right, we'll see if Kaiwen can kick things off with a full blitz on his second turn of the game. This is generally where you need to start attacking with Pikachu and Zekrom. It's all about early aggression and then snowballing that early aggression into a bigger lead, powering up your Pokemon with that full blitz, and just trying to play Electro Powers. Just take knockouts as fast as you can. You can't give these other decks time to set up, otherwise you will eventually get overpowered. In terms of HP, Pikachu and Zekrom GX is on the low end, as weird as that sounds, with just 240, but it gives up 3 prize cards when it's knocked out. This is looking good, though. He's already guaranteed himself a full blitz.
He's got an Electro Power. He's going to draw 6 fresh cards. And yeah, with that Thunder Mountain, he has enough energy already attached to be able to use full blitz. He will get 3 more energy from the deck, which he can use to power up Tag Bolt potentially, or he can put onto one of his benched Pokemon.
Yeah, and I couldn't see if he actually played the Electro Power or just discarded it. There can be concerns of walking into Outrage from Reshiram and Charizard GX, but I don't think there's a big difference between 150 and 180.
It's tough to say. He did just put it directly in the discard.
Yeah, we'll find out. think you're safe to play it, and it plays around like giant potions and that kind of stuff. But no, I don't think he did.
150. Okay, so looks like he did just choose to discard it. Regardless, if you're going to be able to knock out the Reshiram and Charizard with 2 hits, I suppose it's just not worth it to potentially walk into a bad situation.
Yeah, the only reason I can think of is if your opponent's playing, you know, mixed herbs, great potions, more damage is better. I mean, it's
Yeah, for sure. We were seeing Rahul running Great Potion in his version of Reshazard, but I don't believe we'll see it in this variant. It's always possible, though.
Great Potion, you'll probably see. Mixed herbs, almost definitely no. But you saw Mehdi, when he went to draw his card for the turn, drew a Fire Energy, and he flicked it like, now you show up. He played Welder. Yeah, he played Welder on the first turn, but didn't actually attach for the turn, so he actually is kind of behind in energy, which is really annoying in this matchup. And we'll see if he can recover. His Reshiram and Charizard has taken a big hit. See if he can respond this turn with some kind of attack. He can at least outrage, but that just doesn't seem like a great option to me. You can outrage for a bunch of damage, and then your opponent simply knocks out your Reshiram and Charizard GX, and you start the game down 3 prize cards. Really shows the risk, the downside of these tag teams. So Mehdi is going to have to formulate some kind of game plan here. Kaiwen has done everything he's needed to do so far. Got the turn to full blitz with Pikachu and Zekrom. He's got 3 energy on the benched one and is setting himself up to just fire off huge attacks every turn. Mehdi is going to attach an energy to that Turtonator. That is something that can do a lot of damage at once. With that explosive jet, if he can find a Welder, a couple Fire Energy, and then a switch, he could just burst out of nowhere for 250 and knock out this Pikachu and Zekrom.
He did put an additional Welder back into the deck at the beginning of the turn, but it doesn't look like he's found one.
Yeah, the last card in his hand looks like a Welder to me. Just trying to figure out the best sequencing here. I don't think he's played a supporter yet.
No, just the Pal Pad and the Dead A change.
Here's where you try to decide how much of a risk you want to take. And we actually see the Heatran GX as well. So that is another Pokemon that can attack for a bunch of damage if you had a lot of energy in play. One of the new cards from Unified Minds making an appearance in this Reshiram and Charizard deck. It doesn't look great at first, and then you start playing with the card and you're just constantly impressed at how many situations you're like, oh, I'm happy I have Heatran GX in my deck. That's weird. I need to do 130 this turn. Okay, that's cool. I need to do 300 damage this turn. Okay, that's cool. And it's just a regular GX, not a tag team, so there is a lot of power behind using a regular GX, only giving up 2 prizes as opposed to 3.
Getting 2 energy off of the Giant Hearth, weldering it onto the Turtonator on the bench.
But he knows, I need to protect my bench now that there are 2 Dedenne GX out here. It's time to put up a barrier and say, no thank you, Tag Bolt GX.
I don't need to lose 5 prizes in 1 turn. That seems excessive.
Now, he did draw the switch, but it might be a little bit too much to commit. You would have to burn all 5 of your energy in play if you wanted to attack with the Turtonator. So just going to take a more conservative route, outrage for 200, or 180. Sorry, I keep thinking he played the Electro Power, but it's 180 damage, 30 plus the 150 on Reshiram and Charizard. And now Kaiwen has to make a choice. He's certainly going to get a knockout this turn, but does he want to attack with a fresh Pokemon? Looks like the answer is no. He's just going to commit to the active and try to power up perhaps for a big Tag Bolt later, even though that Mew is going to block the bench damage. We may see a full blitz onto Zeraora GX instead.
All right, and he's going to get the knockout. He's going to take 3 prizes here. Pull some energy from the deck.
1 lightning left in his deck. That is...
It's a pretty light lightning line.
It's not a quite... that is a small blitz, not a full blitz. Still full damage, but it's not quite the blitz you're looking for, you know?
Yeah. It's more like a full spark. A jaunt. It was fast, but, you know, could have been better.
Yeah.
It's still fine. He's got 2 Pokemon that are still able to fully attack and threaten. That Zeraora will be ready to go soon enough.
Yeah, I think he got a lightning out of his prizes, maybe a couple.
He's got 3 in hand, it looks like.
Yeah. That can happen. Sometimes the lightning energy are in your hand, so you can't take them out of your deck for full blitz. So now Mehdi is going to have to find some way to knock out this Pikachu and Zekrom GX. It only has 60 HP left. It looks like he's going to go for Victini Prism Star as a potential option. Although he does not have a Welder this turn, so he's going to have to attack with Turtonator. And he is deliberately not benching any more tag teams. His opponent is at 3 prize cards, so he has just stuck to leaving those 2 Dedenne GX on board, and with the Mew saying, all right, you cannot win next turn. You can't take 3 prize cards. Maybe I can force you into an awkward situation where you can't win next turn, but I can.
That's smart. He was behind by a few prize cards. Now he's been able to tie things up and wants to just give himself as much time as he possibly can.
Okay, so Kaiwen uses Jirachi Stellar Wish, and in his top 5 cards, we see Cyrus Prism Star. This is not a card we see very often. You can only play it if your active Pokemon is water or metal, and basically your opponent keeps 2 of their bench Pokemon and they shuffle the rest in. So this can put your opponent in a very awkward situation. I don't know if it's worth it here. It would force Mehdi to shuffle in either the Mew or the Ninetales probably. And I don't think
Victini.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a big enough impact because you then open up bench space for your opponent. You can then replay Dedenne GX and Dedenne change later. So Kaiwen saying, no, this is not the right time for Cyrus Prism Star, which, to be honest, I haven't found
the right time.
Yeah. There are some crazy combos you can pull off with that card, but...
Is there an errata on that card when it was initially made?
That is the correct version.
Yeah. Maybe it's a card that will come in handy. Certainly Kaiwen has his reasons for putting it in the deck, but right now he wants those Dedenne to be trapped where they are.
It is excellent in some matchups, but this might not be one of them. And we see another Stellar Wish. Kaiwen opting to use this Jirachi version of the Pikachu and Zekrom deck. We've seen a lot of more kind of turbo variants that don't use Jirachi anymore. Just straight up GXs, play your Dedenne GX, draw through your deck as fast as you can. But there's nothing wrong with a good old Stellar Wish. Ever since Jirachi came out, it's been one of the best consistency engines. You know, you Stellar Wish with Jirachi, you put an escape board on it, and it somehow flies away. And now we see Zapdos come down, another card we don't see as much of, but with the Electro Power, if he has a switch, he can switch into the Zapdos, and Thunderous Assault for the knockout. So,
yeah, it used to be 3 or 4 Zapdos.
And in a tournament pretty much dominated by tag teams and Pokemon GX, we're seeing some regular Pokemon duke it out here. He actually opts to discard Raichu and Alolan Raichu with the Giant Hearth.
It's one that he pulled off of his prize cards. Because both were prized originally.
So I do need to shuffle even though I fail? Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and the judge is correctly pointing out that you are still supposed to search your deck with Giant Hearth even if you opt to fail it, so you do need to shuffle your deck.
Makes sense.
So I don't think there'll be any penalty addressed there, but something to keep in mind.
That's a very minor thing.
Yeah. And all right, Kaiwen will go down to 2 prize cards with this knockout. Do you see the energy switch? Going on to Dedenne?
Yeah.
Trying to figure out where to go. I think he's just burning cards. He doesn't want to run into a reset stamp.
Yeah. Which makes sense. You'd rather have your cards in play than in your deck where you can't access them.
And now Mehdi looking at his discard pile, saying how many fire energy do I have in here? Setting up for that infinity from Victini Prism Star. Seems like a stretch, but if he can get to 12 fire energy in his discard pile, he can knock out Pikachu and Zekrom with that attack.
We saw Tord earlier today with 11.
And he's trying to do the math. He's trying to say, all right, if I promote this Pokemon, welder energy to it, then retreat, that gets an energy in the discard. I can Giant Hearth, discard an energy, get in the discard. I can use Ninetales ability, put 2 fire energy in the discard. Trying to add up, do I get to 12 and win the game? Seems like a stretch, but I don't know how many fire are in his discard yet, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
We saw him
We'll sit back
thumb
and find
past quite a few of them, but
Yeah.
it didn't look like 10 plus to me.
Right. He's also 1 energy in play short of dropping down something like Welder, Energy, and Heatran GX.
Looks like he's got 6 fire energy in the discard right now. So he would need 6 more.
Okay. Now we're up
There's
to
1.
7. Let's see. Gonna grab the 2 fire
2
energy.
in his prizes.
I think he almost, he kind of wants something that has a 2 retreat cost. I don't know if he's got anything though. He would love to be able to go like Welder 2 energy to something with the 2 retreat, switch into it, and retreat the 2 energy off, attach for turn.
And even then,
Might just be
you're not hitting 12.
an unreasonable dream. Here's an Acrobike.
Could discard
another
that
way.
way.
Oh, actually, opposite discard the Welder instead.
He's got 1 in hand already.
Ooh, Heatran GX coming in. You see the Welder go on to the big Heatran. He's
Attach
actually
turn.
attaching a 3rd energy to it. What is he
Does he
planning
have a
here?
switch that he can retreat? I mean, he just attached for turn, so he wouldn't be able to use Infinity.
Right. Maybe just setting up for a win on the next turn.
Yeah, in which case he needs to get something into the active that
Yeah.
is a single prize.
Ooh, he's sending out Heatran GX.
Oh, he's just going
I
to
think, doesn't he just lose the
attack
tag bolts?
and knock out the Zapdos, yeah.
Okay. All right, so Kaiwen takes game number 1 with Tag Bolt GX, just straight up 200 damage
Okay.
to knock out Heatran GX. That may have been a situation where Mehdi was just overthinking things and
Ignoring the
forgot.
obvious.
Yeah, forgot the thing on board where he loses. Happens to all of us.
If you do get 2,
Been there.
3, 4 steps ahead of yourself, sometimes you forget step 1, which is not losing to what is already there.
Yeah. It's all right. It's about a 20-minute game 1, so you can shake it off pretty easily and move on to game number 2. It's always interesting to watch Pikachu and Zekrom versus Reshiram and Charizard. As we've mentioned a couple times over the course of this event already, people cannot agree on who wins the matchup. But I gotta say, I've seen Pikachu and Zekrom win a lot so far.
Yeah, it seems like Pikachu and Zekrom is just the faster deck and therefore averages a higher win rate. But, I mean...
Turns out you just turn 2 full blitz and everything falls into
Yeah.
place.
Then again, I don't have 100 games of the matchup to tell you definitively.
Yeah.
It's 60-40 this way, but
And every deck list is different.
yeah, true. That's probably the biggest issue right now is there's no standardized lists to sort of fall back on
Yeah.
as the pinnacle.
Every list is different. Every player is different. It's hard to get a good read on what actually happens.
We got the greens list versus the Jirachi builds with Ninetales and
Yep.
yeah.
All right, Cora, what do you think Mehdi has to do to climb back into this series? He's down 1 game. What's he got to do?
Well, he started behind that one, right? Kaiwen was able to get the first knockout, full blitzed on turn 2. So I would like to see Mehdi threaten with Reshiram and Charizard to have his own attack by turn 2. That involves Welder turn 1. And the problem there is you're hitting for 230 with Flare Strike. Pikaram is 240 hit points. We saw earlier Rahul Reddy with the Dojo to be able to get that extra 10 with a fighting energy. You're doing a lot for 10 extra damage just to be able to get that one-hit knockout onto a Pikachu and Zekrom. The fact of the matter is he's just got to go faster.
I think that makes sense. Going first always helps as well.
Yeah, you get that first energy attachment. You're able to declare that first attack. I mean, he was left in a situation in the last game where he was having to outrage and then just sort of sacrifice his Reshiram and Charizard, which is not ideal.
Yeah.
But here, he's started a Vulpix.
Yeah, that's not the worst. His hand seems decent, at least playable. He's got the Cherish Ball, which always means you're going to be doing something on your first turn. When your deck is filled with Dedenne GX, you can at least draw a new hand at the very least. But I think he's got Welder in hand, maybe 1 or 2 Fire Energy, so he's going to be able to do something here. But as you said, I think he really needs to power up Reshiram and Charizard. And having a conversation at the table, he's saying, it's kind of weird you're moving cards to the front of your deck while you're searching. And he's saying, yeah, I'm putting the Pokemon to the front of my deck so I can count which ones are prized. But that can look suspicious sometimes to look like you're kind of organizing your deck. So
as long as there's a sufficient shuffle afterwards and everything is randomized, it shouldn't matter.
Yeah, just be aware when you do that. It can look suspicious.
Shouldn't being the operative word.
Yeah.
Sometimes for reasons it does.
And he's taking a look through once again, making sure no important cards are prized. I've actually wondered this myself, once you get into best of 3 scenarios, is the time you use searching for your prizes worth it when a lot of games end up in ties? Obviously, the optimal thing to do, the best strategy is to figure out what cards are prized, but does spending like a minute or 2 on your first search ultimately end up in you tying matches later? I don't know the answer to that question, but it's something I've thought about. Plus, I'm lazy.
Reasonable to think about.
I'm lazy, so I don't want to check what's prized.
Well, I'm going to let them find the answers for me. I mean, I think you're looking for what's prized, but you're also taking that time while you're searching the deck to think about what's my next move, what's my macro game plan, as opposed to just the micro of, picking your GX Pokemon to get off of the Cherish Ball.
So you have a Welder for just 1 energy. Not where you want to be. You want to get the full 2 energy off of that. Draws the Giant Hearth a little bit too late. We do see the second Fire Energy come down. And he's got a lot of stuff he can do. But is any of it worth doing this turn? There's a couple Pokemon Communication, a Dedenne GX. He's already played a supporter for the turn, so does he want to dead a change here or just pass the turn? It looks like he says pass after the switch. Oh, never mind. I should not guess what people are saying.
Okay, so he's going to go ahead and discard 2 Pokecoms and a Fire Crystal for a fresh 6 and go from there. He's got a Welder for next turn, but no energy. He can pull energy off of the Giant Hearth, however, so that's a comfort.
Didn't use Giant Hearth. That's surprising to me. If that stadium gets countered, he might be in some trouble. So we see...
I think he drew into another one, but I'm not positive.
That could be true, yes. All right, Volkner coming in. Of course, with Pikachu and Zekrom, the dream is always the turn 1 full blitz when you go second. It is possible with Thunder Mountain Prism Star. It has to involve Tapu Koko Prism Star. So you can either do, if you start with Pikachu and Zekrom, you can Tapu Koko Prism Star, Dance of the Ancients, get 2 Lightning Energy on your benched Pokemon, play 2 energy switches, move the 2 Lightning to your active, attach for the turn, and then full blitz. You can also pull it off with 1 energy switch and Thunder Mountain Prism Star. It's not likely, but it does happen. And when it happens, you feel great.
There's a big difference between a turn 1 full blitz and a turn 2.
Yeah.
A lot harder to respond to the turn 1. So we'll see if he's got the pieces. Like you were saying, it's hard to do.
All right, so we do see Kaiwen debating if he wants to.
Is that a Sigilif?
Yes, it is. Yeah, Sigilif.
It's Sigilif.
You just said that, yeah. He's like, yeah, it's a Sigilif.
Why?
It can be an interesting kind of wall in some matchups. I don't know if he's playing Psychic Energy, but if it's hit by a Pokemon GX, it deals that much damage back to the GX. So
Okay.
in certain matchups, you can just send it out and be like, look, you're going to knock it out. But like if you're against Reshiram and Charizard, you're like, be my guest. Flare Strike my Sigilif for 230 and hit yourself for 230, and then I'll just finish it off with a Zapdos or something.
Yeah, you get a 3 prize, they get a 2.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what matchup that's for, but I have seen it pop up in Malamar decks where you can actually attack with it. I'm not sure what the plan is here. Maybe you can, with Raichu and Alolan Raichu, you can Lightning Ride and switch into it. That could be a good strategy.
Sure, something that protects the rest of your bench.
Yeah.
All right, we are going to see Lysander Labs send that Giant Hearth to the discard.
So I think the turn 1 Full Blitz Dream is gone.
Yeah.
And he's going to pass the turn. Lysander Labs is interesting to me in a deck with Jirachi. I think he plays a Skateboard too.
He does.
Those cards don't work together, a Skateboard and Lysander Labs. But Lysander Labs is an important card in several matchups. Shuts off the spell tag of the Giratina and the Malamar decks. Turns off Shedinja. That's a big one. And it could just turn off opposing escape boards and things like that. And
We are seeing a fair bit of Jirachi still here.
Yeah, choice helmets pop up sometimes. And it's just a good counter stadium. You do need counter stadiums in pretty much every deck these days. Or at least a Marshadow to blow the stadium up.
Sometimes both.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some very powerful stadiums right now, especially with the addition of Giant Hearth.
All right, here we see another Welder. So he does get to 4 energy on turn 2. If he can find Ninetales and a couple Fire Energy, he can use that 9 Temptations ability to bring out perhaps that Pikachu and Zekrom and hit it for 230 damage before it's able to full blitz.
Looks like a Pokemon Communication and maybe an extra Vulpix in hand could do the trick.
Yeah, that can do it, as long as it's not prized. And I think I saw Ninetales in there. So this is going to flip the table on what happened in the first game. This time, Mehdi's going to be the one attacking his opponent's tag team first. And we'll see how that changes the dynamic of the matchup. I'm guessing it's going to be good for Mehdi.
I think so. This, regardless of which way you think this matchup leans, it does seem to be determined by speed. Who gets that first attack? Who's able to follow up on that first attack? And yes, we're seeing that because partially Mehdi was able to go first. He had consecutive Welder turns.
Yep. Which tag team will come out on top? We'll find out. It's like, here is Ninetales at 9 Temptations. Now the question is, does he go after Pikachu and Zekrom? I think that's the right choice, but you do have an option to go after something like Zeraora GX and just take a clean knockout, grab 2 prize cards. And he's actually not sure what he wants to do. This is not a trivial decision.
Yeah. Those prize cards could be really helpful.
Yeah.
But if you get that Pikachu and Zekrom out of the way, you don't have to worry about maybe a lot of that setup.
All right, he's going after Zeraora. See one more Dedede change. The Dedede GX has exploded in popularity after the standard format rotation.
Yeah, its stock has gone way up.
Yeah. And an escape board goes on to Dedede GX. And the 5th energy, that is going to threaten Double Blaze GX for 300 on the following turn. But this turn he's using Flare Strike for the knockout, and that may be why he decided to go after Zeraora GX instead of Pikachu and Zekrom, knowing that next turn he could just Double Blaze for the knockout.
As long as he's got the Fire Energy to be able to 9 Temptations, and knowing that he's not going to lose the Reshiram and Charizard this turn, he should feel pretty good about his position here.
I sure would. Although with lightning decks, you never know what's going to happen. Kaiwen could just go...
Quad electro power.
Exactly.
270, ha.
Yeah. He only needs 3 electro powers if he uses Tag Bolt.
True.
And I'm sure he just wants to attack. That would be the main thing.
I do see several of them in hand, as well as a Volkner, which can fetch another one, but we're still worried about energy here. How do we get it? How do we play it?
Yeah, he's going to need Thunder Mountain Prism Star, Tapu Koko Prism Star, one of those two. You wonder if he could power up a Raichu and a Alolan Raichu. That could be an alternate strategy to try to paralyze Reshiram and Charizard GX's turn with the Tandem Shock.
Yeah.
Okay, it really depends on what I Stellar Wish for.
Kaiwen kind of narrating his turns here. He's saying, this really depends on what I Stellar Wish for. So let's do that first.
It's kind of...
Take
I mean,
Cyrus.
it's nice to hear. Let him just do it for us.
He's probably like, oh, that's an easy card to discard to Electromagnetic.
Yeah. Definitely does not want that.
Sorry.
It is an interesting dynamic to consider when you're playing against someone who's very talkative. Can that potentially be tilting in any way? I wonder. I'm sure it can be.
Some people get real annoyed, yeah.
I mean, some people are just more vocal than others.
Yeah, it depends on your personality, honestly. Some people love to chat at the table, have some fun. It helps them relax, to talk more. Some people will not say a word unless to announce their attack.
Yeah,
to knock out your
declare what
Pokemon.
their intent is.
Yeah. And I think as the stakes get higher, we tend to see players get a little less talkative.
Yeah.
But players like Kaiwen, even when he makes it to the highest levels, he's still mostly the same. He still tries to chat up his opponent.
He's a young guy. He's having fun.
Yeah,
Just a bit of a personality.
indeed.
But, you know, it's nice to see all types really sitting up there playing the game at a high level.
So we see him Volkner for the Stadium Nav. He needs to get a heads here to find Thunder Mountain Prism Star. We've seen some devastating double tails.
He does hit a ez.
Well, yeah, the second flip wouldn't matter.
He's only
So, like, you got to flip 2 coins. It's like, the second one doesn't matter, whatever.
read
I'm just
the
grabbing.
card. Kaiwen,
I'm just grabbing Thunder
flip
Mountain.
2 coins.
Not grabbing another stadium. All right, there is Raichu and a Alolan Raichu. Does he want to go for it? He's got the tag switch and also Tapu Koko Prism Star.
Looks like he's got some options now. With that Thunder Mountain, he can full blitz, or he can...
So if he's got a switch, he can... Oh, yeah, Electro Power. He needs to draw a switch off of this custom catcher, and he missed.
Oh,
he could have used Lightning Ride GX for 280 and knocked out Reshiram and Charizard GX, but instead he's going to pass the turn.
Oh, my gosh.
And this is going to fall apart very quickly. If Mehdi has 2 Fire Energy for 9 Temptations and another one to power up Double Blaze GX, he can just wipe out Raichu and Alolan Raichu, and that'll be game.
There's the Giant Hearth to be able to find 2 more Fire Energy. He's got 2 in hand already. This should be easy.
That's it. Boy, if Kaiwen got that knockout, though, I think he was going to be in the driver's seat. There would be no energy in play for his opponent. He took a gamble. It did not pay off, and now he's going to pay the price. And yeah, he just says, that's it.
Yep.
Let's go to game 3.
Okay.
Huge risk. I just had to, try.
Yeah.
He says, huge risk, I just had to try. And you know what? To be able to recognize that position and recognize that you do have an out, to be able to flip a bad game on its head and put it in your favor, sometimes you got to go for it. Sometimes it's not going to work out. But
Absolutely.
the times that it does, you are going to feel like a freaking genius.
Yeah, that's part of playing well in tournaments, understanding when it's time to just take a risk. You understand this could look really stupid. I could play a lot of things and then literally do nothing.
I
and
could have
pass my
Twitch
turn.
chat yelling at me saying, what were you thinking?
Or I could be a hero, draw the switch, and knock out that Reshiram and Charizard.
And win the game because of it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you get it, people remember that. They really do.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things that can boost your confidence, that can have you playing your best going the rest of the rounds today? Because obviously sitting at 3-1, this is a very good record and potentially a top 8 making record, depending on how the rest of the day goes for Kaiwen. But they've only got about 12 minutes to be able to get a conclusion to this series with game number 3.
Gotta go fast.
We've seen a lot of draws today.
Yep.
And these guys are both in a good position, but a draw would put them in a significantly worse one.
Indeed. Yeah. So in that situation, I think it's almost a given that you need to take that risk. He's really far behind. There's kind of no downside to just going for it. And if you play a normal game, you're probably just going to lose anyway, so might as well just go for it. Gives you a chance to win. All right. Game number 3, well underway. Kaiwen's already done a lot of stuff off camera. Got a switch into Jirachi. There's so much happening right now. He's played like 5 cards already.
But from
Take my word
Eddie's
for it.
face, you wouldn't know it. It's cool as a cucumber. He's got Mr. Chatterbox sitting across from him, and he's, you know what,
Yes.
he's playing his game.
It's got very expensive cards.
They are very expensive cards. It's a beautiful deck.
Yep. So you got the promo Jirachi.
He's got style. That thing, whew,
Best edge is to see what's prized.
gotta crack a lot of building battle boxes for that.
It's worth it though.
Oh yeah.
All right, so Kaiwen is kicking off game number 3 with an electromagnetic radar. He's already played an energy, played a switch, played a lily, used a stellar wish, and here we are with electromagnetic radar. You just see a field full of gold, full arts, rainbow rares. They're all over the place. And he's going to pass his turn. This is the difference between going first and second. You can afford to just have this kind of casual turn where you play a lot of stuff, but only get 1 energy in play, and say, yeah, I'll get the attack off next turn. Don't worry
Meh,
about it.
did enough.
But
Well, it's possible, but unlikely for a Pikachu and Zekrom tag team to be able to
Oh.
attack on first turn. It's
whoa, boy, Mehdi's
Oh, my.
hand is miserable. Thank goodness he has that Cherish Ball, because that's it. He's got nothing else he can really play. Thankfully, his Dedenne GX, well, he started with 1. He's got 1 in his deck, otherwise that would have been disastrous. And once again, he is checking to see what is prized.
yeah, he consistently pulls all the Pokemon to the front.
So he just played 3 Dedenne GX, it looks like. And he's definitely going to grab 1 here. His hand is like 4 Fire Energy, a Pokemon Communication, and a Fire Crystal.
Yeah, let's try that again.
Yeah.
Would like a Welder.
I would like 6 new cards, please.
Would like a
These-
Reshiram and Charizard.
These are defective. I would like 6 new ones, please.
Excuse me, Judge, my cards are broken.
Not in the good way either.
Turns out they're broken bad, not broken good.
A lot of time left or a little time left or...
All right, so Dedenne GX. Man, there's just all sorts of rainbow rares floating out here, huh? Rainbow Dedenne GX. All 3 of Kaiwen's GXs are rainbow. Lots of style going
yeah.
on here.
I mean, I appreciate it. Makes me smile.
Yeah. And Mehdi gonna attach the Fire Energy before throwing it all away.
Oy.
Discard 5, draw 6.
It's like, that's, wow.
Now that is why you play Dedenne GX.
Sometimes you just need a reset button. Looks like a Vulpix and a Ninetales.
Okay, this Acrobike better be good.
You can't use Steady Change twice in the same turn.
No, but I think his hand is bad enough. He needs to take it. This is not good. He does not have... Well, okay, he's got Jirachi.
Yeah, he can retreat out Stellar Wish for the turn. Or...
He's trying to figure out if he
Yeah.
wants to switch or just retreat. There is value to having the energy in play because of Heatran GX. I think it's probably better to play switch.
Turtonator as well can pull energy from
Yeah.
all of your Pokemon.
And this could be a big Stellar Wish. Remember, he has not played a supporter card yet.
I literally said, excuse me, Judge, my cards are broken like a minute ago, and somebody already tweeted it at me. guys are quick on the draw. I'll give it to you. That's good.
Power of the internet, huh?
Whew. They fast.
All right, so he finds a welder in the top 5 cards. But, boy, it's not good when you have to welder onto Vulpix, a Dedenne GX, just to draw 3 cards. You'll do it when you need to, but that's been kind of the story of this turn.
Welder says attach up to 2 energy.
Yeah.
Do you have to attach it if it's there?
So you can attach, as long as you can attach at least 1 energy,
Okay.
you can play the card.
Gotcha.
But if you have 2 in your hand, you don't have to play both.
Okay.
You can choose,
You can
to, play
choose to do one.
Your hand is private knowledge.
Makes sense.
So he's going to attach 1 and draw 3. Well, gets Victini Prism Star.
As well as the Giant Hearth.
Yep. So I don't
And
think
he's-
there's a reason to play that quite yet.
Slowly but surely drawing out of the bad start, but still not anywhere near the setup that he needed. He was already going to be at a bit of a disadvantage because he was going second. So this needed to be a 3 energy attachment onto a Reshiram and Charizard turn 1, and it ended up not looking anything like that.
Okay, big stadium nav. He needs to get 1 heads, and he gets it. See the fist pump? He knows he needs that Thunder Mountain Prism Star. You got to go into turbo mode here. Got to start using full blitz turn 2 and put the pressure on. The clock is winding down. Your opponent had a bad start. It's time to get aggressive.
Smell blood in the water.
Need to
It
find
was recently Shark
switch.
Week, so I guess take advantage of it. They have sharks in Australia.
Probably.
Probably.
You got giant spiders.
They do. The Huntsmans.
Oh, he does have the switch. So we see the Lily. 4 cards, needs to find a lightning energy, and he
He's
does.
got it.
All right, this is huge.
Full blitz knockout.
Full blitz, turn 2 knockout.
I switched. Yeah, I switched. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, Kaiwen's going very quick. He asked the judge, I believe, how much time do we have left? Judge
Yeah.
told him just under 9. Clearly that was about 4 ago. So he wants a conclusion to this game. He wants
Yeah.
to win fast.
All right, so we do see full blitz. 1 knockout taken. 5 prizes remain for Kaiwen. And
2
boy,
custom catchers, 2 energy switches.
Eddie needs something. He's going to play down his 3rd Dedenne GX this turn, I think. I wonder if this is a spot where you're intentionally retreating off an energy for Victini Prism Star.
4 in the discard already. 5 would be 100 damage on Infinity.
Yep.
I mean, it's not nothing. He could get 6 in there. He could threaten a 2-turn onto Pikachu and Zekrom, but there would be no world where you're able to attack twice
Yeah.
with the same Victini Prism.
Doesn't feel good. Skateboard, so he's going to retain the energy. Attach another one? Oh, okay, he's going for Heatran GX. So he's still got a decent play here. If he can Dedenne change into a Welder and then get Heatran GX, he can use that Hot Burn GX for 250 and knock out this Pikachu and Zekrom. So all those silly attachments to Dedenne over the past couple turns.
They have meaning now.
Yeah. I think they're having a dispute over...
Attaching for the turn, it seems.
Yeah, he attached to his active. It looked like he took his hand off the card, and
And
that
then he
typically
moved it.
means you have played the card, you can't undo that.
As long as your hand remains on the card, you're free to move it around. But if his hand left the fire energy, then it needs to stay on the Dedenne.
Yeah.
Yep. And that appears to be the ruling. But I don't think it's really going to matter. Mehdi's very far behind. If this game's going to have a
Wow.
conclusion, it's not going to be in his favor.
This is going to be a big 6 cards. If he can hit Welder, 2 energy, and Heatran GX, he can get the knockout with Hot Burn. And I think he's done it. He has drawn into the Welder. So a horrible first turn turns into perhaps a
Very good.
GX knockout, a tag team knockout at that. There is Pokemon communication.
Send
And
back that Reshiram and Charizard. Pull out that Heatran.
And it does burn up his GX attack and puts all of his energy onto the Heatran, but it takes down Pikachu and Zekrom and perhaps gives him a chance to win.
And again, one that, a Pokemon that you're just consistently kind of impressed by. Not everybody's running it, but it seems like
his board looks horrible,
maybe they'd be having a better time if they did.
His board looks horrendous, but he's just been able to attach energy to these Dedenne GX, and then he's going to soak them all up with the Burning Road ability on Heatran GX. He can just, out of nowhere, do a bunch of damage, and once the Heatran gets knocked out, it puts 5 fire in the discard for Victini Prism Star.
This could actually be
Could work out,
This could be a game.
It looked ugly, but it might be turning around. See, there's 4 fire in the discard.
Would be 9 after the Heatran gets knocked out.
Yeah.
So as soon as Heatran becomes your active, you may move as many fire energy from other Pokemon onto it as you'd like. 5 energy with Hot Burn GX is enough to knock out a Pikachu and Zekrom.
Sure is. All right, Hot Burn incinerates Pikachu and Zekrom.
3 prizes for Mehdi.
Whew, okay.
And just like that, he's 1 tag team knockout away from being able to secure a win in this series.
Do you see the reset stamp from Kaiwen, though? That's going to slow down Mehdi after that big knockout.
And we are just about coming up on time in the round.
I'm really, yeah. I'll get the Vulcan put into hand.
And Kaiwen doing whatever he can. He's got to be careful to retreat and then play that Lysander Labs in his hand. Otherwise, it would turn off his own escape board. I assume he wants to counter that Giant Hearth, but no, he's discarding the Lysander Labs with the Electromagnetic Radar. Looks like he may be going for a Dedenne GX. He's already played Electro Power, so if he switches into a Raichu and a Alolan Raichu GX, the Tandem Shock will get the knockout. But yeah, he's in some danger, I guess.
As long as Mehdi does not have to bench Reshiram and Charizard. If Kaiwen gets the knockout here, he goes down to 3 prizes. He will still need to take 2 additional knockouts to be able to win the game, and he's only going to have 2 turns to do it after time is called.
Okay, there is Tandem Shock for the knockout, 190 exactly. Down to 3 prizes. Both players at 3 prizes. Yeah, our timer's at 0. I don't know if there was a time extension or anything like that.
There was some time spent on debating certain calls, but I don't know enough that it would result in a time extension.
Right.
Things were resolved pretty quickly.
See, the Giant Hearth Stadium card was left in play.
Discarding another Giant Hearth to pull out 2 fire energy. You need 2 energy to attack with Infinity. And then it's 20 damage times each fire energy in your discard pile, which right now should be around 9 for Mehdi.
He's going to need a Welder as well to attach both energy in the same turn. He's got 1 Acro Bike. It's a Cherish Ball. I don't think there's a 4th Dedenne GX in here. But he might wish there was. That'd be pretty good right about now. Dump a couple energy in the discard. Draw 6 cards. Mike takes a Cherish Ball off of the Acrobike, discarding a Reshiram and Charizard GX in the process, but no Welder this turn. And now Mehdi's going to have to decide what to do. All right, and time has been called at this point.
Okay.
Mehdi is turn 0. Then we'll have 3 turns after that. So both players will have essentially 2 turns to have a chance to win this game. Start off with this Jirachi using Stellar Wish. And he does find Welder. All right.
That's really important. He's trying to set up for a tag team GX knockout on what will be turn 2 of our extra turns. That is the only way he's going to win this game.
Seems pretty likely, yeah. It's going to have to be with Victini Prism Star. getting, what, 13 in the discard? 12, you can go after Pikachu and Zekrom.
Yeah.
Already have the Ninetales out.
260 HP on the Raichu and the Alolan Raichu.
Now, the danger here for Mehdi, if he doesn't win this turn, if Kaiwen has...
Custom catchers?
Well, that would be bad, yes. But also, if he's got some combination of a bunch of, like, tag switches, energy switches, Tapu Koko, Prism Star, and he powers up Pikachu and Zekrom's Tag Bolt, he
That
can
too.
simply
Can
get
just win.
a 3-prize knockout and win the game.
I
Okay.
believe his prizes are a couple energy switches.
Yeah, if I remember right, there were 2 energy switch prized, but I don't think he's used Tapu Koko Prism Star yet. So it would take a tag switch, maybe another one, Tapu Koko, and an attachment for the turn. Thunder Mountain is already gone. There's an energy switch in hand. It's been a communication for that Tapu Koko Prism Star, I think.
Okay, so that energy
Tag
switch was the last
switch.
prize he'd taken.
His tag switch in his deck. He's just going to grab Zapdos, it looks like. I'm not sure what else is in his hand, but he certainly could go for the win here.
He played a very brave line in the previous game, though, and he did get punished for it. So I wonder if maybe that's put him off of taking a big risk right now.
Oh, I think he may have just missed it. I think he had it in his hand. He had Volkner, Energy Switch, communication for
didn't see
Tapu
it.
Koko. Yeah, I think he might have just missed the line here. There's no Mew in play, so Tag Bolt GX could have done it.
Did he use the Tapu Koko Prism earlier?
No, it's still in his deck.
Yeah, okay. Then it appears that Kaiwen has missed an opportunity to take 3 prizes.
Yeah.
And now we'll give Mehdi one more chance to be able to pull up that Pikachu and Zekrom GX, have 12 fire energy in the discard pile, be able to get his Ninetales out of the active as well, bring up Victini and Infinity for the game.
I think so, yeah. I'm just thinking about it, right? There was an energy switch in hand. There was a lightning on the Pikachu and Zekrom already. That's 2. You attach, that's 3. Tapu Koko is 4. Tag switch is 6. Yeah, I think you get there.
I am not seeing the necessary cards in Mehdi's hand.
Yes.
So, bit of a bummer for him. It's looking
Let's
like
see.
it's a couple energy, another giant hearth, a cherish ball.
Yeah, he may just be passing and hoping his opponent doesn't win.
I think that's what he's got to do.
He's got another giant hearth in hand, but of course you cannot play a stadium card if one with the same name is already in play. Going to use the 9 temptations to bring out Dedenne GX and pass the turn. If Kaiwen has double custom catcher
He's got it.
and a way to switch out,
Volkner
gonna
for
ride
the lightning energy.
lightning
the Dedenne.
ride for the game. Or you can just tandem shock.
Take your pick.
And Kaiwen
Right.
advances to 4-0-1, 13 match points. Perhaps heading to the top 8 at the World Championships. He's on his way. Going to need a couple more wins probably, but put himself in excellent position.